Hi there, lovers and haters alike. I'm Linda K. Gifford. I am the survivor of childhood sexual abuse, whether you or I like it or not. Wow, it's amazing, amazing the comments I get, and so many from women. It's mostly women now. I said the messages were from men at first, but now things have really picked up in the last couple of weeks. All of a sudden, we went from 50 people to 5,000 people, ultimately, after a couple of weeks, you know, watching my live streams. And so obviously some of you are relating, and unfortunately some of you are not. Probably you are, and you just can't accept that fact. And so you come after me and say mean things. And in the past, it was my fear of you thinking those things about me that made me not tell anyone what happened to me. And I'm going to give you one thing, you PragerU types, the Prager not a university types. You can call me pathetic. You can call me disgusting. You can say I should have known better. All these, we've talked about these. I've given you my perspective on why I did what I did and didn't do what I didn't do. And it is what it is. It is what it is. But in saying your parents must have been terrible parents, them's fighting words. Them's fighting words. But I will give you this much. My parents were typical parents. And nobody then was talking about the fact that this was entirely prevalent. Like I said before, we hear about the violent rapes more often, and even some people even want to hide those because they think that their child is ruined, you know, or they're ruined. Nobody can know I was sexually violated. I'm not a virgin now. Now nobody will ever want me, because whether a penis has been in my body or not is the indicator of whether I'm a decent person or not, or whether I'm worthy as a woman, whether I'm a worthwhile wife to be had, is my hymen broken or not. I had a very serious talk with my friend from Saudi Arabia about that one. I'm like, hymens break. Hymens are not an indicator of whether someone is a virgin or not, but guess what? Neither is virginity. Virginity is not an indicator of whether a woman is a good person or not. It's one thing, and this was huge. This came up last night talking with a friend, and today, Tuesdays, many of you know, is my therapy day. So I had my hour-long therapy session like I do every Tuesday. And we talked at length about both of the things we're going to talk about today, or I'm going to talk to you about. Yeah, my parents screwed up. They did. But they were decent, wonderful people, and they screwed up unknowingly. They screwed up because we weren't talking about it. We weren't telling people what was happening, and when things happened, we swept it under the rug, and we expected everybody to just get on with life and be okay. And 30 years into this journey, I realized it's like every aspect of my life has been affected by what some would say I let happen to me, what happened to me. I've learned, and I 100% want you to understand that when grown men do things to teenagers and adolescents especially, it's a crime. It's a crime. I guess 18 is legal, and I argue that. Those who think I'm promiscuous, I actually would like to raise the age of consent to 20. And even that's too young. I know we have to draw the line somewhere. So I'm going to give you some background as to why I feel this way. I am working out my own feelings every day. I don't have all the answers at all. If I had the answers, well, I'd be giving you answers instead of talking about it all. I do have some answers, though. I know that we should all feel like we own our own lives and bodies. And I know that we should all feel that we have a choice in this world as to who we give our bodies to, and that this is something that has been really hard for me. So I'm going to give you some background. I'm going to back up to, I'm going to give you some incidents to set this picture up. I have a real issue in my own head with teenage sex, even amongst teenagers. I think this is not a good idea. I think it's bad and wrong. I tried to put the fear of God into my own boys about sex. I tried to do it not with religion, not with God cares, but with, this is your life. Do you want to wear a condom for the rest of your life after you get an STD? Okay, have sex randomly without protection. No. If you're going to have sex, I said, make sure that this person can raise your child forever. If you're divorced, you want to give this person at least 20% of your income for at least the next 18 years. And if you're a decent person, you're probably going to go a few years further than that because of college and these kind of things. At least in, if not child support, in supporting your child's future. The point is, sex makes people. That's a bottom line. But it's also not its sole purpose. You know, biologically, sure. But as a people, we have come to a decision, even in the Old Testament, we decided to say that God said sex was for the mutual joy of the man and the woman. So for the biblical-minded and those of many faiths, monotheistic faiths, you can draw from that and go, okay, sex is supposed to be good and fun. That doesn't mean promiscuous. And so my haters that think I'm promiscuous because I don't draw a line between premarital and extramarital, yes, but premarital and postmarital sex, that's because I don't give any credence to a piece of paper. I would only encourage my children to marry legally, or anybody else, if it's an advantage. For the insurance, one of you gets, the other one needs, for some kind of financial advantage, a tax credit, whatever. If it's a financial advantage and you are committed in the sense that you really, really want to be with this person who really, really wants to be with you and you're solid, okay. You do what you want with marriage. Personally, I like the concept of if you know you want to be with someone and you want to make it solid with the family and the friends, you know, you can have a wedding, but you don't have to do the paperwork with the state unless it's a financial advantage. That's just my opinion. But that's not what we're talking about today. I digress, which you know I do a lot. But my parents, they were so decent and good at the fundamental level that it never occurred to them that me going to babysit for my big sister, way bigger sister, you know, 8 or 9 years older than me sister, and her way older than her husband, who knocked her up as a teenager too, you know, she was also sexually abused. That's rape, you know. My dad got him, you know, married him quick. 3 weeks after they found out she was pregnant, they were married. And that's when he started abusing me, because guys like that are in it to mess around, you know. And this guy, he brought a virtual teen, she might have been a teenager, barely out of high school, to his own daughter, my niece's high school graduation. So for those of you from my hometown who don't believe me, bullshit. You do too. You do too. And for the rest of you thousands of people that are going to hear this, I want you to be more aware than my parents were. And this is why we have to say me too. We have to step up. I don't care what they called the movement. That's what they called it. So yes, I'm going to say me too, because it's the truth. And how do I change things for your children and my children, my grandchildren, if I don't point out to you this insidious thing, you know, this insidious sexualization of children? You see it in the media, and people are already pissed about that. The clothing, the ads, the calling 17-year-old girls, 17-year-old women, the idea that you think an 18-year-old is fuckable if you're in your 30s. Oh, as soon as she gets over that line, she's 18, it's okay. Is she 18? Is she 18? I was watching Talladega Nights the other night. You know the part where his then wife, later wife, she flashes her tits at him, right? And he's like, please God, let her be 18. And then the segue, they're getting married. Okay? Ha ha, is that funny? No, it's not. When you really think about it, all he's saying is, God, I hope that little girl is fuckable. I hope I can legally get in the pants of this child. And if you don't have the maturity level to want to seek someone of your own age and experience, and somebody that's not just a sex partner, but a mental life, we have something in common partner, then guess what? You're like a ton of people in this country, men and women, and it has to change. It has to change. So yes, my parents screwed up, but I also give them this. They didn't see it coming. They didn't see it coming. Nobody was waving any flags. No one was blowing any horns. I sure wasn't. I knew. Okay. And I misspoke. I misspoke in my last live stream 2 days ago when I said, I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry I didn't know it was wrong as a 10-year-old to suck my brother-in-law's dick. It's like, no, I totally always knew it was wrong. But I'm going to go back and try to get this in your head. If you are a person at an age that you have no idea what penises and vaginas do, even if you know what they are, when someone just puts you in a position where they're unzipping their pants and pushing your head down, and you're like, you want to be out of there, but this is a person. All I can say is, it's a horrifying memory. And he was the grown-up and I was the child. And so for those of you that can't wrap your heads around that and want to blame me, obviously it still hurts me, but it's not you that's hurting me. It's the fact that it happened at all that continues to hurt me. So this is going to be an intense live stream, but I'm going to keep it a little shorter, because this is hard for me. I'm called selfish. I'm a media whore. Okay, whatever. Protect your children. Teach them more than just not to be touched by somebody that doesn't trust, somebody you don't trust. You know, only people you trust should be touching you underneath where your bathing suit is. And as I've said before, and will say many, many more times, that is who touches you there. And when they do, this is the difference between childhood sexual abuse survivors and survivors of violent rape or something. It becomes part of life. The negative, sordid part of life you hate and try to hide from and get away from and black out from, and you learn to go away, and you make altars, and you wake up in closets and fields and don't know how you got there because you have to disassociate. But if, granted, I'll give you this, if my parents had known that this kind of thing was even a possibility in my life, maybe they could have prepped me. And maybe you can prep your children like I have prepped my children. It's harsh. And they didn't know any of this when they were way young. And I didn't even come out and talk about it until Willie was old enough to handle it, I thought. Because he's 16 now. But if we don't get a grip and share our experiences and tell each other what to look out for, then it's going to keep going on. And if you women especially keep telling your daughters to hide it or nobody's going to want them, or that teaching your children that God only loves virgins and no man's going to want you if you're not a virgin, and teaching your children that your sexual satisfaction isn't important. What's important is that some man finds you worthy, right? What they're doing is they're teaching us, men and women, But I'm talking about women right now, and girls. They teach us to see our reflection in others' eyes instead of to see ourselves. We're looking at the world. How many of you walk into a room and wonder what someone thinks about you? Is my hair okay? Do I look okay? Oh man, she looks really good. Do I look as good as her? Wow, she's a little fat. Is she fatter than me? Am I fatter than her? Who's hot? We're all guilty. We're all guilty. Even the most staid evangelical Christians amongst us try to walk in a room or a place and want to feel that we are appreciated. And we're letting society and men and the patriarchy convince us that what is appreciated is being what they want. And it just makes me sick. It makes me sick to see these women who come after me and tell me I'm ungodly. I was told God does hate me. That's one I got this week. God does hate you. I'm like, okay. Because I said I thought God hated me. Because to reiterate, I said I thought at the time I believed in a God that had a consciousness and made plans for people. You know, that's where I was at as a 10, 11-year-old. So if God would let these things happen to me, then God hated me. I mean, later in life, they try to say, oh, don't you see this happened to you so that you can help others. It was all part of God's plan so that you can go make a difference in the world. And that is a bunch of bullshit too. God force, my tool of loving kindness that I call the God force does not kill people or hurt people or rape them or have them raped. That's not the purpose. If there's a God that does that, run as fast and as far as you can. As I've often said, if there's a God that would kill the firstborn and starve people and try to hurt people if they don't obey them, that's the kind of person didn't our parents tell us to not associate with, get away from? So why do you try to tell us to fear a God? I will never fear God. I will use God to make the world a better place. And if you don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. So, okay, I'm pathetic. I'm disgusting. I'm promiscuous. That's a funny one too. Yeah, have sex. Take it down the aisle. Take it to the bedroom before you take it down the aisle. I'll drink to that. So sure, I'll wear all that. My parents, back to the top. Today, again, so joining in late, I was talking to my therapist today about a couple of things. And one of them was being slam about my parents. But one of the things I had to come to grips with in counseling 20 years ago was to stop defending them. Though they didn't do anything wrong, they weren't looking. They assumed I was safe. They assumed that staying in town at my sister and brother-in-law's to babysit was safe. They assumed it because society didn't tell them otherwise. People didn't tell them otherwise. We were so absorbed in being part of the patriarchy that we just did it. Well, we're not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. Please don't you do it anymore. Again, I'm a little worked up here today. So that's the mom and dad one. The other thing that came up in therapy was, to share with you, early on, someone in following, good sex, made a reference to what we had just done sexually as fucking like teenagers. Well, you can imagine where that put me in my mind, because I don't even get that. And I spent like half an hour or more with my therapist today. Like, I'm trying not to be judgmental, because to me, like I said, I think the age of consent should be 20. I think anybody who sleeps with a 17, 18-year-old is a pervert. It's disgusting. So then what about teen on teen sex? It's like, oh, this is the natural exploration of body and sexuality, and maybe it is. And I'm not at a point, I'm going to be straight up with you, I'm not at a point that I have a verdict yet. I still think it's out of line and too young to know anything. But then again, my experience as a teenager having sex was, I don't want to be having sex and trying to avoid it at any cost, but also having the ability to just disassociate. And this is where the PTSD comes in. No matter how much you disassociate, it comes back. It comes back, and it loves to come back when you're having sex. It loves to come back when you're walking down a grocery aisle. You never know when you're going to get triggered. And so handling the triggers is what we do. That is what we have to do. That is what I do. I've become very successful at handling my triggers, and kind of accidentally started talking to people about it. And now I have a lot of people that I message with online, and you just wouldn't believe the stories that aren't mine to share. But I do know that there are some things that every day they can do to make themselves feel better, because at least try it. It works for me. You have to realize the shame is not yours. The shame is not yours. Put the shame where it belongs. You are a child. No matter what society says, no matter what kind of clothes they're putting on you, no matter if they're saying 17-year-old woman, Cuomo, I'm still pissed at you for this. Oh, Matt Gaetz, he was with a 17-year-old woman. It's like, no, he was with a 17-year-old child, motherfucker. And that is why you guys perpetuate this thing. You perpetuate this concept that somehow the day a teenager turns 18, all of a sudden they've gone from child to fuckable woman. And all you want is the fuckable part. You're not looking for a partner. You're not looking for a life equal or somebody to talk to. So you think I'm promiscuous? It's like, no, you actually, I don't give a damn about a piece of paper that says I'm married or not. But I did teach my children to respect themselves and others. And I did teach my sons that should they impregnate somebody they don't like and ever try to fuck them over, I'll be the first one to put my own sons in jail or be up against them. Because once you make another generation, the innocent child will always be the one I'm advocating for. So my children have my, they have my love, they have my commitment until and unless they're hurting somebody else. And then the else has my love and my commitment, because nobody has the right to hurt somebody else. And what society is doing is letting all of us women be hurt just by telling us that we're secondary to some man's desire. So I'm straying back to the teenage thing. Here's my dilemma. My dilemma is, there was never a time as a teenager that I had like sexual excitement. My friend Jessica Rigney, I'm going to precurse this with, she made a film. Look it up. Jessica Rigney. She's an artist. She's also a yogi master, really good person, midwife to my oldest son's births as well. She made a film and I watched it, and it floored me. I couldn't breathe. I cried. And when I tell you what it's about, that you're going to be like, huh? Why? The film was about a girl, her sexual, it was like a poetic, and with a poetic art film around it. It's short, you know. And it was her feeling the sensation, body sensations that one has, you know, with stimulation, with whatever. And but this girl is not in a sexual situationship yet at this point in her life. It's just she's having awakenings to these feelings. And it was like a dream. To me, it was embarrassing. It made me blush. I felt ashamed. It was so intimate. But the thing about it that really captivated me was that she was feeling these things without fear and without judgment and without having been violated. And that's just, my violation goes back so far that there was just never that time. I've never, I never had the choice to let desire awaken in me and decide to have sex with somebody. I had to figure out how to try to not have sex with somebody, and then I had to figure out how to hide the fact that I was having sex with somebody, and I had to figure out how to not kill myself, because God hated me so much that he would let somebody force me into the situation. And I also felt the guilt of being in the situation, and I knew as a 12, 13-year-old that I was a woman, because that's what I was taught. That's what we're all taught. So I was guilty. Damn, people. I feel sorry for my ex-husbands. I do. Even though I think the two last ones were pretty much assholes. I still feel sorry for them because, I don't know. I feel more sorry for me, I guess. I say I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me, but once in a while I do feel sorry for myself. I'm only human. And I want to make damn sure, before I drift too far here, to go back to the top, that you realize that teenagers are teenagers. And even though they think, and we've made them think they're all grown up, they're not. They don't have enough time and experience. And I guess I have a whole lot less animosity towards teen-on-teen sex. Maybe that's a thing. I mean, I'm told it's a thing. It's a reason why somebody that cares about me didn't even think that it would hurt me to say, oh yeah, fuck like teenagers. We fucked like teenagers. And I'm like, my mind is, there's just no such good thing as fucking like teenagers. So I suppose maybe there are teenagers in love out there that are people that look back or that married somebody that they had sex with when they were a teenager. My parents did. They were 14 and 16 when they got together, and they had 2 children before my mom was 18. And that's kind of a secret, but they're both dead, so I can say it now. And mom told me she didn't even know how babies were made. After the first child, she didn't even know why she got pregnant with my sister, the second child. She had 2 children 10.5 months apart at the age of 16 and 17, But they actually managed to stay together and cared about each other and had a decent life. And nobody should go into sex at that age and not know what's going on. But at least they were the teens that did it willingly. So I'm not going to hate on you people. I'm going to wrap up here pretty soon, but I'm not going to hate anymore on the people that call me names and say I'm pathetic and I'm disgusting and I'm dishonoring my family and all. It's like, you're not my people. You're not my people. My people are the people that want to make the world a fair and equal place for everyone, and that don't want children to be abused by adults. For me, the verdict is out on when the age of consent should be, I guess. I want to raise it, whatever. But I think it's pretty unilateral. We can all agree that a man in his 30s waiting to pounce upon a girl the day she turns 18 is a piece of shit. Yeah. So, in conclusion, I'm not going to go through the whole 5 steps again, although I will have that out in 2 weeks. I have to, because my publicist, oh, I didn't tell you about that. I'll get to that in a minute. First, don't confuse mental training, the mental training, how do I say this? Don't confuse burying your experience into a place so deep and far away that you don't think about it ever and that you think you're over it. Don't confuse that with good mental health. If you have PTSD, if you are a survivor of childhood sexual abuse or any other kind of abuse and you have PTSD, just know that this is going to be your part of your life. And once you accept that, you can stop kicking your own ass and you can stop giving a damn what anybody else thinks, and you can make your own life. I am Linda K. Gifford. I am a childhood sexual abuse survivor. And I will survive every day, but it's not painful and horrible. I like my emotions, and I have more joy than sadness. Yes, these talks sometimes often bring up deep emotions in me, but I need to bring them up. So, if you don't like it, you don't have to be here. And if you're burying yours, please don't, because that's not good mental health. Good mental health is saying, this is what's real, and now this is what I'll accept. I'm not saying you have to go tell everyone or put your story out there like I am. I'm saying accept, bring it into the daylight. And once you put it in the daylight, you can now deal with it. Burying things always leads to bad stuff. And I've seen too much suicide. I don't know, some of you know my niece killed herself last month. It wasn't straight up a suicide, but it was death by despair. It was over drinking to the point that they couldn't save her. And I talked to people, and I brought this up 2 days ago, and I'm going to bring it up again. These people that I talk to that have this most evangelical Christian beliefs, they also are the ones most prone to suicide because they think there's a better place to go to. It's like, you deserve to have a good life here on earth. Whatever's next or isn't, you deserve to have a good life here. And if you're in such pain that you think you need to get out of it to move on, dig it up. Dig it up and plant those seeds and grow them into a better world for everybody, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. The Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund that I have founded recently, and we're still awaiting our nonprofit status. Why is it taking so long? I just want to rescue people in trouble. I've got the network set up. There are places for people to go and people in trouble. They just need transportation, and that shit costs So, please go to either you can do it on the Sweet Survivor page and the shop. It's kind of sloppy and hard to tell. I'm going to fix that. I just haven't had time. But if you click on the picture, there's like, it actually represents me and my altars. Me, myself, and I. Picture of 3 people, little girl Rage and myself. And if you click on that, it'll give you the opportunity to start a $5 a month, $5 subscription. I donate to like 10 people $5 a month in Citizens United, Warren, Democratic Party, in Every Town for Gun Safety. You can go on, but $5 a month. Can you do $5 a month? And let's get some people out of trouble. That's the most immediate thing I can do, and what makes me capable of living through every day. And I get messages. I got this one just 2 days ago too. Oh, you're so miserable. I feel sorry for you. You know, I hope things improve for you and your family. I'm like, oh no, I have a life full of joy, but I will have to deal with the fact that I was sexually abused extensively forever. That is my particular cross to bear. And my cross isn't any more significant or insignificant than yours or anybody else's, whatever it may be. Now that I accept that, it's so much easier to just experience the joys in life and to separate working on this stuff into this project, into Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund. Into feelgoodfairtrade.com, my store. We're about to hit our 4th anniversary, feelgoodfairtrade.com. And in fact, I've advertised, if you start a subscription for $5 a month, and there's not even another option on there. It doesn't even ask you to give more, although I'm going to do that. But this one, which is $5. You don't have any, it's like you can't even give more if you want to on this. On GoFundMe pages and on Facebook fundraiser pages, Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund, you can give as much as you want. But on my store and on this page, it's just $5. So can we get a bunch of people to give $5 a month so that we can buy tickets and get people to where they need to go, get them to the help they need? That is my purpose, my chosen purpose, and the way that I feel good about every day is knowing that knowing that I can make it different for somebody else, that I can bring awareness to it. So please talk to your children candidly. Stop kicking your own ass. Stop kicking your own ass if you think yours needs kicked. It doesn't. Whatever you did, whatever you participated in, whatever happened as a child is not your fault. It's the reason we have legal ages of adults and children. Children are children. And guess what? They don't turn to be adults the day they turn 18. So keep that in mind too. And watch for the pervs out there. I started to say, shockingly enough, a very major, if not the largest publicist in the world, the people who do the chicken for the soup books and if life is a cherry, or if life is a bowl of cherries, and the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and just famous, these people handle the month-to-month deals, publicity for major best-selling authors, and they have invited me to be coached by them for a year and then go before TV news and internet producers to see if they will add me to their roster of people that they interview on their shows. It's a 1-year, an annual summit, and there's one a year from now. There's also one this summer, and they said we really normally don't work with people until their book is already published, but they know that I've got a teaching, a trigger guide coming out. Well, they've made it come out. I keep talking about it, but he's like, can you have it done in 2 weeks? And I was like, sure. So I'm working around the clock, and I've named it From Trigger to Happy. And it's how to get in the fine print from trigger to happy. And it's the 5 steps. So we'll wrap up with that real fast. And I have an acronym now. It's not a great acronym, but it works. Spades. S. Call a spade. I don't know. We have to work on this. But S. The shame is not yours. P. Separate the past from the present. You're going to have to do it every day, all day long, and that's okay. There's ways to do that. We work on that when we get more specific. Today was not about that. But in this program, we'll have all that. Just like we've gone through in live streams, we're just going to kind of centralize it there. So, S, shame is not your own. P, separate the past from the present. A, ask for what you want. Use your words. Use your words. People aren't mind readers. Ask for what you need. Ask for what you want. And tell goes in there too. D, don't wait to feel okay to be okay. There's never going to come a day that you're over this. But there never has to be a day that you're under it either. You are a sexual abuse survivor. So am I. High five. We're going to get through this. Fine. Everyone's got their cross to bear. Lots of people have had horrific things happen to them in their lives. We just have to sort ours out just like everybody else does. You know, PTSD comes in many forms. It does. And it's all manageable too, as long as you realize that and treat it as a daily do, right? So go out, do what you want to do, and don't give a goddamn what anybody thinks about what you do or who you are or how you look or what you wear. You know, people say that I don't dress appropriately for my age. Oh, and my hair's freaky. Yeah, guess what? Celtic Festival's next week. I was practicing. And I sell fair trade jewelry, so I'm always dripping. I'm dripping with jewelry. By the way, Brass Images, check them out. This is Aid for Trade. Oh, I made those. Fair, rainforest, yes. I drip with fair trade. I wear what I want. I act like a child. Really? Thank you. Ha! I hope so, because I never want to lose that. I never want to lose that. God doesn't hate me. I'm good. I'm good. You guys, those of you who will undoubtedly, indubitably, and undoubtedly in the comments, and especially in the messages, because they like to think they're secret about it, and put it in the messages, call me names and whatever. It's like, okay, you do that, and then turn around and look inside yourself and ask why it is that when someone tells you their deepest, darkest, traumatic experience and says, I want to help you and yours, why does that threaten you? What's going on in you? Because I really don't know. This is what I talked to my therapist about too. And she's like, well, it touches too close to home. And I'm like, well, if it does, why aren't they jumping on board? Why are they fighting it? And then we talk about the patriarchy and all that stuff, but we did that the day before yesterday for 40 minutes, so I won't do it again. Suffice it to say, the last step, 2 last steps, we're going to go from don't wait to feel okay to be okay to educate and advocate. I feel good about myself because I'm trying to change the picture. If I wasn't, I would just be a passive little puppy waiting to get kicked again. You know, I'm not going to sit around waiting to get kicked again. I'm out there. Dukes up. You bet. You bet. And the last one is select your people. Select your life. Select your path. Wear what you want. Do what you want. Dance when you want. Listen to what you want. Just be honest and true. And don't let anybody else tell you what your truth is. What your truth is. Yeah. Some people who say I'm a mess. Well, I think we're all hot messes one way or the other. At least by owning up to the mess that I am, I have managed to kind of straighten it out. And despite the fact that I'm going to have to ride these triggers for the rest of my life, thank you very much, and the court case is going to be more about that. I can't even explain to you how much joy I feel in life most of the time. Most of the time. So, I want you to get there too. And I want to stay there myself. It's a process. Like I said, I'm in therapy and I'll probably go to therapy for the rest of my life. It's the way it's not because I'm a sicko. It's because I choose to be well. Choose to be well. I'm getting a booty dance from my son here.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I was.
I was saying hi.
I was saying hi with a booty dance. Okay. Take care. I'll talk to you tomorrow.